Good afternoon. My name's Frank Baker. I'm the chair of the City Council's Committee on Planning, Development, and Transportation. Today's hearing is docket 0864. Today is July 18th, 2 p.m. I want to remind you this is a public hearing and being recorded and broadcast live on Xfinity 8, RCN 82, FiOS 964, and streamed on www.boston.gov/city-council-tv. Nobody's here, but please silence your cell phones. That includes us. We'll also take public testimony if there's any here after. And this matter is sponsored by the Mayor, Michelle Wu, and was referred to Committee on Planning, Development, and Transportation on May 3rd. Docket 0864 is a message in order for your approval of the receipt of a preservation restriction on Hayden Building, 681-683 Washington Street, Boston, Mass. 02111-1611. I'm joined by my colleague from District 9, Councilor Braden. Councilor Braden, do you have an opening statement?
No, I don't, and thanks you for being here today. I'm interested in hearing about this project and just a little bit of the history of the building. It looks really impressive. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilor. And same for me, Joe. I think I have a sense of what you're looking to do, but if you can just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, who you're representing, and what we're looking at here.
Landmarks Commission, and I've been working with Historic Boston, the current owner of this property, who will be selling it, and they're going to sell it subject to a private preservation restriction agreement. And the reason that we're here today, and again, thank you for your time, in order for this preservation restriction agreement to be perpetual, which means it'll be binding on all future owners, it has to have the approval of the Massachusetts Historic Commission as well as the City of Boston.
And this is the City of Boston's approval process here.
Correct.
So we approve it, City Council, and then Landmarks approve it based on us, or is Landmark already approved
The Boston Landmarks Commission approved it on March 14th, 2023 at a public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry to cut you off.
And no problem. And I'm sure you're interested in seeing the building. So if we go to the first slide here, if we can. There we go. The location of the building, 681 to 683 Washington Street, is on the corner of LaGrange and Washington Street in Chinatown. And if we go to the next image, please. This is what the building looks like today, which remarkably is very much what it looked like when it was constructed in 1875. And this building is very significant in that it is a survivor from 1875, and it was designed by Henry Hobson Richardson, and that name may be familiar to you. He was also the architect of Trinity Church in Copley Square. And this 5-story commercial building, any textbook for architectural history, this building is included. It's considered by many the precursor of the modern skyscraper. And Henry Hobson Richardson would go on to design buildings in Chicago. The Marshall Field Wholesale Store is one of his most famous national buildings. But the Hayden Building predates that. This building was designated a Boston landmark in 1977. In 1985, it had a devastating fire, and it was at that time that Historic Boston became involved. They purchased the building, rehabilitated it. They have a revolving fund, and now they have decided to sell this property, and many of the proceeds will go into their revolving fund to purchase other endangered properties in the city.
Okay. Precursor to the high-rise, why is that? Is there something structurally there that gives us the precursor?
It's more the base, the middle, and the top. And that, if you look at this image here, in a much smaller scale of what you would see in a modern skyscraper now. The main difference is this is a totally masonry building, and the skyscrapers of today would be steel framed.
Yeah, so it's all wood frame. Is it wood frame inside, or it's all mason?
It's masonry and with wood framing inside for the floors, but it's a totally masonry supported building.
Yeah, beautiful. And so who is going to buy this building from Historic Boston?
That I don't know, and whoever is the buyer of it will be subject to these preservation restrictions. And the preservation restrictions don't control use, but they do control changes to the exterior, which mirror the same protection that the Boston Landmarks Commission has as a designated property.
So if this has the historic designation, it's inside and outside?
Just the exterior.
Just the exterior, just the facade?
Yes.
All
and
four
the,
sides?
Also, all four sides. The framing members inside too, just to make sure if someone were to compromise the framing, the building doesn't fall down. So if someone, if there was plumbing or something that was needed to go through a floor framing member, that would be reviewed by Historic Boston.
And we're not sure of who the buyer is, but is there a buyer?
Yes.
Looking to take this property over now?
I believe there is a pending sale. So this is the last step for them to put the preservation restriction in place, and then they can sell it subject to these restrictions.
And there's no sort of, having the historic designation, there's no sort of tax incentive or tax break or they may be going after tax credits having this, so it's not a hit to the city of Boston?
It's not a hit to the city of Boston at all. There could be in general, for preservation restriction agreements, there can be a federal tax deduction if a property owner can claim a loss of value. And what they would need to do would be to have an appraisal of the property without restrictions, and then an appraisal of the property with the restrictions, and whatever the difference would be, if there is one, that could be a potential federal tax deduction. In this case, because there's already the protection offered by the Boston Landmarks Commission, you really couldn't say there's a loss of value of this property by donating this restriction.
And it's not, like, the building looks like it's in good shape, so there's no need now for us to, for a, to refurbish the facade or anything like that at this point. It looks like it's in pretty good shape.
Yes. We just recently, in the past year, approved a project for repointing the masonry at this building. So
Okay, and is it residential above, and what is the commercial on the first floor?
Currently, there's a wig store on the first floor.
A wig store?
Yes.
It's going to be a weed shop, probably?
I don't know.
I'm just throwing that in, being whatever everything else is going to be.
And I know it's commercial space above. I don't believe there's any residential.
Oh, so it's all like office or whatever?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Counselor, do you have questions for Joe?
No, it's a really impressive building with very significant history. I'm just curious for anyone who's listening, just how does what's the process to have a building like this preserved?
So there are a number of ways you can preserve a building. You could do it through the City of Boston, through the landmarking process. You could form a district or create a part of a district. Or if you find a preservation easement holding organization such as Historic Boston, you could work with them. They hold preservation restrictions on other properties. So you could work with them potentially to donate a preservation restriction to Historic Boston. There are other organizations. Historic New England is another organization that holds preservation easements, a not-for-profit organization. And I have come here at least once or twice, I think, with other properties. I think there were 2 properties on Beacon Hill that we worked with Historic New England to protect. So, you have options to work with not-for-profit organizations such as Historic Boston, Historic New England, or with the Boston Landmarks Commission.
So does having a preservation restriction like this, does it protect the building like in perpetuity from demolition or?
Absolutely, and in the rare case that for some reason the Boston Landmarks designation would go away, this preservation restriction would remain in place.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, like, to piggyback off that, and if it's just the exterior, does that mean there could be something that would rise up from the middle of it and the exterior stays there?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, they could change floor configuration inside. Again, with this particular restriction, framing members and structural members are protected.
Right.
So
they would need that would need to come in front of
Historic Boston.
Yeah. Okay. Counselor, if you don't have any closing statements, I think that this is something good for us to report out favorably.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
and we meet tomorrow and we can, I see one person that may want to.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Joe. I'm so sorry.
This is Kathy Cotteritas from Historic Boston.
Okay, Kathy, why don't you just come down and sit down and tell us who you are, and this is more like our living room and less like a
Little
hearing room today.
fireside chat.
Yeah.
Chat, little fireside chat.
You just have to, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I can.
Oh, great. Good
So
afternoon.
your name, your
Thank you.
affiliation, and let us know what, what is your side of the story?
Okay. I'm Kathy Cotteritas. I'm Executive Director of Historic Boston Incorporated. We will be the holder of the easement in perpetuity that you are discussing today, and we are presently the owner of the property in discussion.
Okay. So the person that you sell it to is someone that is on board with all this? I mean, you're obviously not going to sell it to somebody unless they have a preservation
Correct.
history
And, or an intention to preserve. It could be anyone, it could be you.
Yeah.
The point is that they will have an obligation, as will any subsequent owner in perpetuity, to preserve certain aspects of the building. And also in the event that they aim to make any changes or even just repairs to something, that they have those reviewed by Historic Boston, Inc., the holder of the easement, just to make sure everything is done in accordance with what would be appropriate for a historic building.
Yeah. And is there any, and this is just from my understanding, is there any tax benefit for the owner to have this? Does this allow the next owner and subsequent owners to go after, historic tax?
Unfortunately, there is not. There is for the donor of a preservation easement. For example, if we were a tax-paying organization and we were donating this easement to, a tax-paying entity donating the easement to a nonprofit like Historic Boston, the donor could take or get a deduction on their federal tax returns. Unfortunately, in this situation, it's one of our subsidiaries that's donating it to the mothership, the nonprofit.
Yeah,
So there is none.
yeah, okay.
And
Sorry
unfortunately,
about that.
when I say unfortunately, I also say that in that subsequent owners do not get a benefit for abiding by the easement going forward. But they do know, but we always let any new buyer know
Yeah,
that they're purchasing a property that has these obligations attached to it. And probably another little tidbit of information is that there's already a historic preservation easement on the property that's held by the Massachusetts Historical Commission. Just Historic Boston is a much more active owner. We like to say that
Yeah.
we partner with subsequent owners of properties because we want them to feel good about the building that they now own and that they have an obligation to help preserve.
thank you. Do you have any questions for Kathy?
No,
Council?
this is good, and thank you for your work. Like, I think
Thank you.
as our city is changing very rapidly, it's really good to know that some of these landmark buildings are being preserved and to preserve the
Yes.
character of our wonderful city.
Well, and please let us know if there's ever a time that you or constituents have situations that they're running into where something like either an easement or other preservation activities. Historic Boston, just so you know, generally redevelops historic buildings that are endangered, that developers can't do without losing their shirts or basically losing money, that we exist to take on those challenging projects. And we work all over the municipality, so within the bounds of the city of Boston, and are happy to take a look at just about anything that may be threatened or where somebody's really just looking to do the right thing and can't afford it, that sort of thing.
Very good, wonderful.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank
Good.
you.
So did you guys partnered on the Comfort Station on Columbia Road?
Yes.
Yeah,
We
looks-
actually own that building because we were designated by the city to redevelop it.
Yeah.
And they, Comfort Kitchen is our tenant right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, so
but-
you're the owner. Did you guys oversee the build-out on
Yeah.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, so, but in 5 years after a certain, we have tax credits that we used on that project that have a compliance period attached to it. So we have to hold for 5 years in that arrangement where we're the owner and they're the tenant.
So after 5
And
years.
after 5, we plan on transferring it over to them.
If they're still in business.
Yeah, fingers
so what
crossed.
if, yeah, so I guess
If
you cross
not,
that
we
bridge.
would
cross that bridge.
continue to let them be a tenant if they want to be. And if for some reason that fails, we have to find another tenant.
Yeah, and this is a little bit off topic talking
Yeah.
up there, but will that, so they won't be able to make changes and things to the exterior there. There's a designation up there because you guys,
Well,
Put a
we
designation
have
up
not,
there.
we have not yet put an easement on that, but we will.
yeah,
But it's also a Boston landmark.
yeah.
It
okay.
sits within the Dorchester North Burying Grounds
Yes. Oh, yeah,
landmark,
yeah.
little mini district, so to
Yeah.
speak. So there are many folks keeping an eye on it. And so for the most part, the exterior is
Yeah,
well protected.
that's what would be subject to. And one last question that's way off
Yep.
everything. There was all the stalls were all soapstone in there? The big-
Yeah.
They reuse the soapstone in there anyplace?
They use some of it in the existing bathroom on the upper floor and something on the ground level.
Yeah.
They totally redid the
It was
basement.
beautiful, yeah.
You can
I
never get a
walked
little
through
tour
there
down
a
there.
couple times before,
Yeah.
like when it was just the raw space.
And just for your information, by the way, because in this particular easement that we're talking about, the Hayden Building, there's very little on the inside that was preserved in that building because of the degree to which it had degraded by the time we purchased the building. But easements can pertain to the interiors of buildings, just generally speaking. It's all dependent on what, a variety of things, what is
Yeah.
historically left, but also what the donor wishes to
So
to
who
give.
was Hayden? Who was the original owner of is Hayden the original owner or the builder of the building?
So the Hayden Building was built by the estate of a gentleman named Hayden. But it just so happens that H.H. Richardson, the architect, who was the guy who designed Trinity Church and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, Hayden was his father-in-law. So he built it for his father-in-law's estate. And his wife, Richardson didn't live that much longer beyond the building of this building in 1875. But his wife lived well into the 20th century, and she ended up being the owner of the building, and it was a rental property for her. She didn't live there or anything. Her family owned it up
And is the
until, I think, the
material
1940s.
the same as the Trinity Church? You said that Richardson was the architect of
Yeah.
the Trinity. Is the material? It looks the same brownstone, rough
Yeah,
brownstone.
more or less. I don't remember if it's actually what they call Longmeadow sandstone. From literally the western part of the state.
Longmeadow, yep.
Yeah, exactly. But Norcross Brothers, which was a big construction firm at the time and did many of the H.H. Richardson projects, not just in this area, but, well beyond, they built this. They were the contractor on this building.
And when was the Trinity Church built? Was it much was it
just
much
built in
before this?
1875.
So around the same time? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really an unusual survivor. So, and given that that was central to the combat zone and kind of a messy little area for a while, it's pretty
while.
amazing that it survived.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, I think, Council, you're good?
Yep.
And we have no public testimony. Joe and Kathy, thank you for coming out here today. This will be reported out favorably tomorrow at our regular meeting. This
Terrific.
meeting is adjourned.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.